Hello and welcome back to the final K. We've got 40 kilometers to go for the Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne. It is all kicking off and has been for the past 10-20 kilometers. We've just had a Jasper Philipsen bike change. He was in the front group. I will go through the riders in the front group in a minute, but Philipsen just had a bike change, so he's dropped into the second group chasing this main group. We've got Hector Alvarez about 5 seconds up the road in first. And the chasing group, we've got Matej Govakar, we've got Watchalong Anderson, Cess Ball, Mick van Dijk, Dylan van Baarle, we've got Lawrence Rex, Christophe Laporte, Timo Kielik, Matthew Brennan, Niels Pollitt, Matteo Trentin. There was echelons that opened up there about 10-15 minutes ago, and the from about 90 kilometers it really kicked off. You had Lotto Intermarché. They did a lot of pulling up one of the hills, and then the next there was like a cobble climb or something like that, and then Arnaud Delis dropped out the back. Jasper Philipsen bulldozed it. He went out the front, and then Paul Magnier got a mechanical. He dropped out. Milan, he dropped on that as well. So all the riders that are my favourites list on the right hand side of the screen are, I'd say about 3 of them remain. You've got Matthew Brennan in the front group, Christophe Laporte in the front group, and then you've got Jasper Philipsen in the second group chasing. So yeah. As for where Dylan Groenewegen has dropped as well. As for where Gourmay is, I don't know. Watchalong Anderson in that front group. Jordy Mews, I don't know if he made it across. Yes, he did. He has made it across. So they're just updating the riders in that front group. So Lawrence Pithy, Jordy Mews, Oliver Nelson, Jonas Abrahamson. So you've got quite a decent number of riders, quite a decent number of favourites as well. So there's five riders on that favourites list that are still within contention. Don't know if Philipsen has made it on to the back of this group though, but I think we've one cobble sector left, and then after that I think the final 25 kilometers seem to be all flat. I think they do a lap or something off the town, but yeah, 37.3 kilometers to go. Hector Alvarez from Little Trek has 7 seconds on the chasing group, and then I think the Jasper Philipsen group is 20 seconds down on Alvarez, so that's 13 seconds. It looks like they're going to catch the Matthew Brennan group, the chasing group here at the moment. And as they're coming to this next cobble sector, it looks like it's going to be a big bunch heading into it. Dylan van Baarle, is he still there? Yeah, he was in the front group. I seen someone mention on one of my TikToks, they said Christophe Laporte and Dylan van Baarle breakaway, so they're both in the front group in a breakaway, so that's still on. I predicted Biniam Gourmay to win it, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. They're showing the back of the peloton here. I didn't see anyone to note. But yes, there is a front group on my screen. There's the favourites. The front group contains 5 of them, or 4, sorry. Jasper Philipsen I think is still chasing. He had the bike change, but the 4 in the front group are Matthew Brennan, Watchalong Anderson, Jordy Mews, and Christophe Laporte, with a couple of their teammates, Lawrence Pithy, Tim van Dijk, Christophe Laporte, Timo Kielik, Cess Ball, Oliver Nelson. So there is a pretty decent group up the front, but I think the peloton is catching them now, with Hector Alvarez still out the front with 7 seconds. Yeah, we'll change that actually. The change, yeah, it did. 36k to go now. And there is a rider from Lotto Intermarché bridging from the peloton to the chasing, or the first chasing group. There actually was quite a lot of riders that had dropped out. Let me try to find it. So the riders that dropped out of this race, there was Tim Wellens, he dropped out. Ryan Mullen and Rory Townsend from Ireland, they dropped out. There was Elmar Reindeer from Unibet Rouge Rockets, he dropped out. And then Sean Christian from Modern Adventure Pro Cycling, he dropped out as well. But that was earlier on. I got that, so I think there is a lot more now that have dropped out. But they were the ones at the start of the broadcast. I wonder why they didn't mention why Tim Wellens dropped out, so I don't know what happened with him. But unfortunate to see two Irishmen drop out. I think they're about a couple of kilometers before they hit the Beer Boss Strat, the final cobble sector of the day, 0.5 kilometers long. But the peloton is struggling just to get the back of this chasing group. There's about 3 seconds in it, and there's a couple people dropping out of the front group, and the peloton's just struggling and trying to get on to the end of this one. Here, sticking on. I think they're on the cobbles now. Yeah, they're on the cobbles now. Hector Alvarez is being caught by the chasing group, which Jumbo-Visma and Decathlon seem to be doing the majority of the work on. Peloton still just a couple seconds from the back of the chasing group, so I wonder if it is going to join up or they will get further away. But Matthew Brennan has had a brilliant race so far. He's been able to keep up with all the attacks, and he's been riding at the front of the groups for echelons. There was a couple echelons that happened with about 50k to go. Is that Mohoric? Mohoric, I don't know. I think he might have. Don't know if he's dropped from the front group or he's trying to bridge across, but he makes it back to the back of the first group. So just an update on the names in the front group: Mohoric, Kovakar, Anderson, Casball, Oliver Nassen, Hector Alvarez, Jordy Mews, Lawrence Pithy, Tim van Dijk, Dylan van Baarle, Christophe Laporte, Matthew Brennan, Jonas Abrahamsen, Matteo Trentin, Timo Killick, a Visma teammate for Laporte and Brennan. So there is a decent amount of riders as the peloton is catching. Is that the peloton reaching? I think the peloton is reaching or just about to hit. I think there's a couple of bike lengths in it, but they're just showing a few riders dropping out the back of the peloton now. There's 4: Groupama, Jayco, Burgos and Astana, rider from each, all dropping out the back. Ballerini dropping out of the back. But the peloton is really spread out. So it's really spread out as the road narrows now. 33.2k to go with Decathlon and Visma pulling at the front. Niels Pollitt there as well, I think. He's been doing well. No, it's not him. But Niels Pollitt has been having a good race. Bridging across to echelons and also staying within breakaways. Group of fans are on a hay bale, lifted up by a tractor. That is interesting. Red Bull seem to have a lot of riders in this front group. So it looks like they've about, I think it's 4 or 5 riders in it. Two riders from the Tour or the Flanders team. I wonder if one of them is Tom Krab. He's had a pretty good start this season, and he is really young actually. He's only 21, no 20, and he won a stage here at the Andalusia and at the Bessage. Yeah, so 2 wins. as what looks like Florian Vermeersch for UAE pulling at the front of the peloton now. Another race has just finished. That the Fawn Drum Classic has just finished. Let me see who won it. Roman Gregoire won it, with Matteo Jorgensen coming in second, Lenny Martinez third. Jan Christen wasn't in the top 10. I seen he was in the group with the final 14k to go. Scaroni in the top 10. Quentin Hermans, Paul Apira. So, yeah. Roman Gregoire for Groupama FDJ United wins that race. Obviously, Paul Sexas winning the race yesterday as well. Another third place for Lenny Martinez. I forgot about that. He came third in that race yesterday. I'll be watching the highlights of that later. I think Filippo Zana won the Giro di... I'm not even going to... Don't want to attempt it. Some Italian stage race. Filippo Zana won it. And now they're at an ad break, so I don't know what's going on in the race, like, but I know the peloton has caught the front group, so it is a big bunch going into the final 30k. So I don't know if a breakaway is getting away or not, but I think with the way things are going, I think Matthew Brennan is looking pretty good for a win. But Jordy Muse as well. He got 7th yesterday at Omloop. So did he do too much at Omloop, or will he have enough on the legs to win a sprint at Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne? So yeah, Philipsen is in the main group now as well. So that, for the favourites, that means that there is 5 from my list in the front group. Jasper Philipsen, Matthew Brennan, Tobias Lund Anderson, Jordy Muse and Christophe Laporte. Obviously Dylan Groenewegen, Paul Magnier, Arnaud Delis, Milan, Girmay. Actually, I don't even know what's happened with Girmay. I haven't seen him on they haven't shown him on the screen or anything in a while, actually. So I don't know if he's in the peloton or not, if he's struggling, but I'm going to assume. Do I think there'll be a sprint finish? I think so. I think at this rate there will be a sprint finish. With the way things are going, there doesn't seem to be a breakaway group, holding up. And every time there's a breakaway, either Decathlon bring it back or another team brings it back. So I think it is going to be a sprint, a bunch finish. So the likes Jasper Philipsen, Matthew Brennan, Anderson, Muse, all them, I think they are going to be in contention for the win. This would probably be Jasper Philipsen taken again, but yeah. Still waiting for the ad break to finish. I'm struggling here with nothing on the screen, so I'm waiting. Here we go, we're back. We are back. Let's see if anything has changed according to PCS. Nothing has changed, so the peloton still remains out the front with quite a few of the favourites in it. So here we go. Decathlon at the front pulling. That's Oliver Nassen at the front. The Visma Lisa Bike team are just in behind them. So Decathlon have actually been pulling quite a lot at the front. I see Trent in there as well. I think there's a couple Rockets riders in the peloton. I wonder who that could be. Modern Adventure Pro cycling rider in there as well. But the peloton is, fairly sized now, and I don't think there's going to be any difficulties which would cause a breakaway to happen. But the Decathlon are really, really pulling for Tobias Lund to get this. 28k to go now, so I will change that to the final 30k. So there is 30 kilometers to go, or not 30, sorry, 27.9 to go, but they're showing a group Oh no, is this the back of the peloton? I wasn't even looking. I was changing the. You know what? That has to be a chasing group because it said a peloton, but there was it's a chasing group. The peloton's up the road. There's a rider from AF Education Rockets as well trying to get onto the back of the peloton, but I don't know if they'll do it. There seems to be a decent gap to the back of the peloton, but the peloton has stretched out quite a lot. So yeah, there's nothing really. I think it's just flat now to the finish. So I think it is going to be a bunch sprint, and whoever has the legs to continue on. There's no climbs, no cobbles. I don't think they said on commentary there's no issues of wind or anything. So I don't think any more echelons will happen. But it is just down to the strongest rider now, and who has the freshest legs after all of that. They have done 166 kilometers at the moment, and they're averaging 43 kilometers an hour. As Visma move to the front of the peloton now. So they do. Seems to just be Visma and Decathlon. They seem to be the two teams doing the majority of the work. I think as obviously the kilometers tick down, you will see Red Bull move to the front because they have quite a lot of riders in that peloton. They're showing a bird's eye. Yeah, there's 2 Rockets riders in there. Modern Adventure Pro. I think there's 4 Lotto Intermarché riders. See Niels Pollitt as well. Couple Q36.5. See Uno X. But it is all Decathlon and Visma at the front. There's Bahrain. They have 4 riders. They're coming up on the left-hand side, obviously for Mohoric. See Trent in there as well. Someone from Groupama. The Groupama rider's still on it. But this is them coming into the... I don't even want to attempt to pronounce the name of that town, but they're coming into this town. I think they're doing a lap of it. So they do 1 lap and then, it's on to the finish. That group chasing the peloton is still chasing. It isn't really making much ground up. I don't think there is a couple, a number of rider from the same team and not to chase it down. I think it's all one rider from each team, so I don't see them catching. But go around this bend, up the curb, and that corner was very tight, and the peloton spread. I thought someone had crashed. The way that the peloton just, as the chasing group, do the exact same thing. Someone there hit someone. Someone there had like a spectator. Someone there cycled straight into the front of them. They're all up the curb. They're all over the show. UAE at the front. I think it is Vermeersch. Obviously 3rd place yesterday at Omloop. Rider from Uno X at the front now as well. I think Decathlon and Visma are just regrouping after that corner. As they show the chasing group, there is AF Education, Movistar, Team Flanders. I think that is Little Trek as well. Picnic Post. There's another rider from Visma, but there's 3 riders break away off the front of it. AF Education, I think it's Total Energies and Movistar, but they've broke away from the front of the chasing group, trying to make it across to the peloton, but it doesn't look likely. Go around another bend, round to the right. No issues on that corner like the last one. 24 kilometers to go now, or 24.1 if you want to get into the specifics, but peloton has stretched out significantly. All single file, no real bunch at the moment. Who's at the front? They're showing the back. 3 riders from Team Flanders at the back. Still the same teams at the front though. UAE, Decathlon, Visma. Only 1 rider from UAE and 1 rider from Uno X, but Bahrain have dropped back a wee bit. I see the train of Red Bull. They're all around each other, towards the middle of that group. Another sharp corner to the right here. I wonder what is going to happen. No issues on that one, thankfully. There seems to be quite a lot of sharp turns in this wee town, so it does. But no issues for Visma or Decathlon. Still at the front, still pulling, still pacing. 23 kilometers to go. If you want an update for the race, Arnaud Delis, Paul Magnier, Biniam Girmay, Jonathan Milan, and Dylan Groenewegen, they're on my favourites list. They've all dropped from the Peloton. They dropped ages ago. The ones that remain, Jasper Philipsen, Sebastian Anderson, Jordy Muse, Christophe Laporte, and Matthew Brennan, they all remain in this front peloton. So they do. Jasper Philipsen had a bike change, but he made it back onto the peloton as they come around another corner. No issues. There's a couple riders from the Unibet Rose Rockets. I think there's one for Modern Adventure Pro Cycling. I think Jonas Abrahamson's still in there. Matteo Trentin as well. Mateo Mohoric, he's still in it. So there's still a lot of top tier riders that aren't just sprinters. There's still, you've still got the classics riders in there as well. But from about 90 kilometers to 60 kilometers to go, I don't even know what happened. Lotto and Marche were at the front pulling, and then they all blew up, and it was just Arnaud Delis left, and then they hit the next climb, and Jasper Philipsen went straight forward, and he sort of broke away a bit, and then that is when everyone dropped, and it was sort of just down to a couple Alpecin riders, and then Decathlon and Visma, with other teams sprinkled into it, but all the main sprinters and stuff like that, they all dropped from about 70, 80 kilometers to go. And then the Echelons hit as well. The Echelons hit. And I think the front group at the Echelon, but there was about 4 riders for Visma. So I know Laporte and Brennan were in there. I know Anderson was in there. Philipsen was in there. I know Jordy Muse, he missed out on it, but he obviously got back, but he was on his own. So that would have took some legs to get back into that group. So there has been, it actually has been quite fun to watch and very interesting to watch. It wasn't just like yesterday's, where Van der Poel went out the front and you knew it was over. I genuinely did think a breakaway would have got this, but there seems to be a peloton of about 50, 60 riders. So it looks like we are getting a bunch sprint, just not with all the favourites that were at the start of the day. I've seen a lot of people on my TikTok, they were saying, well, not a lot. There was a couple of people talking about Jonathan Milan, that he was going to get it. He didn't have, he was out the back. Like I said, 70, 80k to go. The only one left for Little Trek, I think, is Hector Alvarez from Spain, the young Spanish rider. I think he's the only remaining rider from Little Trek. I think the group chasing the peloton, I think Tom Scoins was in it. But apart from that, I haven't seen any other Little Trek. With Decathlon still at the front with 20k to go now as we hit, 20.4k, but final 20k now of Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne. Obviously last year's winner Jasper Philipsen. Is he going to go back to back? Don't know. I hope he doesn't. I'd like to see someone else win it, but if he does, fair play to him. I wonder if I want to know if your man Tom Crab is still in there, because if he does win at the Flanders team and he's only 20, as a Lotto Intermarché rider, pulls off to the side, obviously for a tire change or a bike change. Yeah, change a bike. Who's that at the front? I think it's still, it might have changed from Decathlon, but it looks like Decathlon, all their riders are at the front from this bird's eye view. Visma looked to be spread out a bit at the peloton. I think there's 4 riders from Visma. They were on. They go to a break. course, we go to a break. But the Visma riders, there was about 4 of them all grouped together at the front. It looks like they have all spread out and separated in this peloton. And it looked like Decathlon where it looked like there must have been about 4 or 5 riders from Decathlon. They all seemed to be at the front. So, yeah, we're at a break now. I think there's 20k to go. Like I said, Jasper Philipsen, Matthew Brennan, Tabaslan Anderson, Jordy Muse, and Christophe Laporte are still in contention. I'm just reading the names off my favourites list, but you've still got other riders. I think Mateo Mohoric is still in it. And yeah, mine's gone blank, but I know he's still in it. Matteo Trentin as well, former European champion. He's still in it. He came 5th. No, it wasn't him that came 5th yesterday in Omloop. There was someone from Tudor that came 5th. Oh no, sorry, I thought it was Tudor. It was Q36.5. That's what it was. What did Trenton come yesterday? He got 15th yesterday. So he did. Christophe Laporte got 4th. So he did. And Jordy Muse got 7th. Any others to note from Omloop that finished that? I know Lawrence Pithy's in the peloton at the moment. He got 13th yesterday. Niels Pollitt got 14th. And Jonas Abrahamsson got 17th. So a lot of riders in the top 20 are in the peloton. Coming into the final 20k at Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne. Don't know if Dylan Van Baarle is still in it. He did a lot of work with about 60, between 40, 60k to go. He was in a couple breakaways. He was another rider in the front group at the Echelon, so he was. But I haven't heard them mention his name. So I haven't. Wonder if there's anyone else that is pulled out that is of significance. Because I haven't checked. No, they haven't updated anyone else that is pulled out. Obviously just Tim Wellens, Ryan Mullen, Rory Townsend, Sean Christian, and Elmar Reinders from Unibet Rose Rockets. Apologies if I mispronounced that. So, yeah. My pick for the win was Benim Girmay. I haven't heard him at all. So I don't know where he's at, but I don't think he's in the peloton. Someone said Jordy Muse on my TikTok. There was obviously people said Milan, and then someone said Matthew Brennan as well, I think. This advert is... oh, this advert. PCS says there is Milan and Girmay in the peloton. No, Milan dropped with about 70k to go. Philipsen emptied the legs on a cobble climb, and all the sprinters went out the back. That included Milan, Arnaud Delis, Paul Magnier. He got a mechanical, but it looked like he was done as well. But I haven't heard anything on Girmay. I seen him when the Echelons opened up. I seen him in the second group chasing, but apart from that, I haven't seen him since. And that was about 20-30 kilometers ago. But yeah, Milan and Girmay seem to be out of it. We finally got the coverage back. Soudal Quickstep at the front on the left and Visma at the front on the right. With UAE rider coming up the middle. 2 UAE riders, sorry. Trenton on the back of them. I can see Decathlon are still there grouped together. They are behind Quickstep. Any more cobbles or climbs left? No, we have nothing left. I think we're about to finish the first lap, or the first lap off the town, and then after that we're on to the final lap. So we're nearly passing the first and only chance that the riders get to go past the finish line. They're just showing a bird's eye view. There's Tabaslan Anderson, Jordy Muse are still there. All the teams. It looks like the peloton has grew actually. So there's 4 riders from Intermarché, 5 riders for Visma. I think 2 for UAE. If Niels Pollitt is still there in the back, that's 3. But the peloton does seem to have grown quite a bit. I think Decathlon still have about 4 or 5 riders. So there are teams with a lot of riders. I wonder if Arnaud Delis is there. It says he's dropped on PCS, but I don't think he's there. Christophe Laporte on screen. Dylan Van Baarle, I don't know if I mentioned that. Dylan Van Baarle is still in this group. Who's that from Rockets now? I can't tell. As a break out the front, as an attack from Abrahamsen, potentially. Yeah, Jonas Abrahamsen attacks with 14.7k to go as a rider from Visma and a rider from Intermarché try and catch the wheel. The Visma team, 4 of them are chasing as they should. But yeah, he's caught pretty quickly. I wonder if he'll go again. Finally, a bit of kick in the last 15k. Change that, so we're 14.3k to go. 15k now. Just round this bend. Everyone going to make it? Seems so. Visma at the front, they're controlling at the moment. With what looks like 6 riders now for Visma there at the front. As the peloton stretches out after that bend. This is them coming into what would be the final stretch on the last lap. So this is them giving their... Oh! Jasper Philipsen, another bike change. Oh dear. Jasper Philipsen off the bike again and another bike change. He will not like that. That's his second one of today. Yeah, I think Caden Groves as well dropped, so I think... Is there anyone from Alpecin in that? I don't think there is anyone from Alpecin. Oh, there's one rider from Alpecin in that peloton. So if Jasper Philipsen can't catch up, that'll be the rider sprinting for the win. There was a rider from the team of Flanders sprinting for that first passage. Apparently there was a prize for it. So there was a prize at the first passage of the finish line, and a Tour of Flanders rider sprinted for it. Fair play to him. I mean, why not? 5 riders from Decathlon are at the front, and Visma still at the front as usual. There's actually a photo finish for the... Does he get it? No, he doesn't. Oh no. The Visma rider got the prize, not the Flanders rider. Oh dear. Still a rider from Modern Adventure Pro Cycling there as well. 3 riders for AF Education. I see a couple from Movistar out the back. They're actually doing a photo finish for this prize at the line. $12.4k to go. Nothing really changing at the moment. I think Tom Scoyne's from Little, so I think there's 2 Little riders now. So like that group that was chasing must have caught up. That is why the peloton has beefed up a bit. Jasper Philipsen still in the slipstream of the cars trying to catch, and he's at the back of the peloton now. So Philipsen is still there. He's made it back. So will he win? That's a second bike change. There's 2 riders from NSN, and neither of them is Gourmay. So yeah, Gourmay ain't there. 2 riders for Soudal Quickstep. There's obviously more because I've seen more, but there's 4 riders for Bahrain, 3 for the Unibet Rose Rockets, 2 for Tudor, 3 for AF Education, 4 for Red Bull, 5 for Decathlon, 5 for Visma, 4 for Lotto Intermarché. So there's a lot of sprint trains that should form in the final 5-10k as we hit 11.5 kilometers to go now. So there is still quite a lot of teams with a lot of riders. I think Trenton's still there as well with a teammate. think the Flanders team has about 3 or 4 riders. But it's still just the same 2 teams of Decathlon and Visma doing all the work at the front. As Quick Step, I think there's 4 riders for them now. I think they're just grouping up in the back of the Visma and Decathlon trains. Pardon me. So yeah, if you are, I'll say it now before I forget. If you're enjoying, subscribe, like, all that, yada yada. I'll be live for Strade Bianchi next week. I'll be live for Paris-Nice, Tirreno Adriatico, Milan San Remo. I'll be live for all that. Sure to tell you Tour de France. So if you like any of this, subscribe for future videos. But yeah, just thought I'd say that before I forget. A couple Uno X riders at the back of the peloton. Q36 rider as well in the middle. I wonder if he's the only one. Commentators just said Luc Lamperti's still there for AF Education, so that is the 2 teammates to protect him. There's 3 in total. As the leadouts are starting to form, Visma and Decathlons are sort of mixed up, but there is the Unibet Rose Rockets there. Their leadout. There is a Soudal Quickstep leadout and a AF Education leadout forming on the left hand side of Decathlon and Visma. It'll not be long before Visma and Decathlon form their own. They're sort of all just corner. They all made it round, which is good to see. We're into the final 10 kilometers now off Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne. With the riders that are left, I will ask the 5 people that are in here if who do you think is going to win? With what is left, I think that Brennan is going. It's either going to be Brennan or Anderson. I think that both them teams have done enough. I think Philipsen only has 1 teammate left, so I don't know if he can latch onto the back of Brennan or Anderson, maybe. But I think Brennan might have it. But Brennan has been doing a lot of chasing as well. No, I'm going to change. I'm going to go with Anderson. Tobias Anderson. I'm going to say he's going to win it. If he does win it, I swear Decathlon are on a mad one. Because Paul Sextas won yesterday as well. So it looks like they have got it right this year. Nine kilometers to go now. Pardon me. They're just showing another big group crossing the finish line now. So that's the Milan group. They are quite a bit back, actually. There's Benim Girmay as well. So that's the first time I've seen Benny in about 40k. So that is, they've just crossed that finish line, which the main peloton crossed about 10 minutes ago, or 5-10 minutes ago. 8.5k to go. We see Philipsen moving up with his teammate on the left-hand side of Quickstep. I think it's going to be a quite exciting finish here. Red Bull are in the back of Visma and Decathlon. They've, Jordy Muse and Lawrence Pithy as well. They're still in them. Oh, I'm going to yawn. Oh. Bahrain's still there as well. I think they came up the right-hand side of Visma and Decathlon. I think that they must. I think I've said it about 5 times, but I think they have about 4 riders. As the lead out trains are starting to form with Lotto Intermarché, big acceleration from their team on the left hand side as the peloton splits down the middle due to an island in the road. So we've got Soudal Quickstep and Lotto Intermarché on the right hand side of the road, and Visma and Decathlon with Tudor as well on the left hand side of the road. Unibet Rose Rockets are on the right, Uno X are on the right, Red Bull are on the left, AF Education are on the left at the back with Team Flanders. Alpecin are on the right as the peloton merges back together. But there is 4 big lead-outs formed at the front with 7k to go. We've got Lotto Intermarché, Soudal Quickstep, Decathlon and Visma. They are the main 4 lead-outs at the moment. I think Bahrain are just in behind Lotto Intermarché. So this is it. We're getting into the final straights. Coming to the final 6.5. I think Decathlon and Visma would, if either of those don't get the win, I think both teams would be disappointed with the amount of work that they have done today, because them 2 teams have been the MVPs of the day, doing a lot of the pulling back and breakaways and splits. So fair play to both them teams. They just need to get the final kilometre right now with this sprint. As we hit the final 6k. Coming up to a roundabout now, as all teams go around the left hand side. No issues by the looks of it. I think Lotto Intermarché, I think their lead out got the front of that roundabout, the exit. Soudal Quickstep are still there. Still the same 2 UAE riders are there. I think it's Vermeersch, but there's another UAE rider. Them 2 have been at the middle of the peloton, like the front middle, for quite a while. Let me see if I can try and figure out who it is. It could be Milano, because he does look pretty small. Or it could be Rui Oliveira. I don't know. But I think the front one is Vermeersch anyway. With AF Education, there we lead out, coming on the right hand side now. I think there's only 2 left of them. I think they've lost a rider. 5.3k to go. Tabashlon Anderson is sort of in the middle of the peloton as it stands. Matthew Brennan is on 4th wheel of his lead out, which are at the front, alongside Lotto Intermarché, who are on the right hand side of them. They have 3 riders, 2 UAE riders in the middle. Matteo Trenton, I think, he's on the wheel of Matthew Brennan, and then there is a couple of riders for Bahrain, and then the quick step lead out to the left of that. So according to PCS, the favourites for today, according to whatever game that they run or whatever, the favourite was Jonathan Milan by 4,600 points, and second was Paul Magnier, 3,300 points. Neither of them are here, so... Third, Jasper Philipsen, 2,500, and fourth, Brannan, 1,200. So I don't know how they get their stats for the game, but it's something to do with stars or something. But yeah, into the final 4.5k. Visma still at the front. Decathlon seemed to have disappeared slightly. Change that to the final 4k now. As the peloton sort of splits across the road, spreads across the road. Lotto Intermarché still on the left. Bahrain are coming up the middle with Quickstep. And Visma are still on the right with Red Bull's train on their way. There's Neil Pollitt. So there is 3 riders from UAE as Neil Pollitt moves to the front of the UAE 2 in the middle of that peloton. I think it is Milano. I think Milano is there for UAE. So show a bird's eye view. Decathlon, there's no lead out for them. They are all grouped in the middle of the peloton with no real lead out as they all hop over the curb in the middle of the roundabout there that they just crossed. So it's not Milano, it is Oliveira. So that is the sprinter for UAE today. Jordy Muse and Tabassalon Anderson are side by side towards the middle of the peloton. I was about to say back, but I would say it's more middle. Decathlon don't really have a lead out at the moment, as two NSN riders come up the right hand side of Lotto Intermarché, as there is a split on the road and the adventure. There's two riders there that missed that roundabout and misjudged it and went a bit wide. Rider from Bahrain tries to break off the front of the peloton, gets closed down by Lotto Intermarché rider and a Visma rider. As a gap sort of opens with a rider from NSN, Visma, Lotto and Bahrain. And a Bahrain rider is at the front of the peloton not pulling, and there's a group away with 2.8 k's to go. Oh dear. Oh no. 2.7k to go. There is 4 riders at the front, one from Bahrain, one from Visma, one from NSN and one from Lotto Intermarché. Bahrain played that well as one went off the front, 3 followed, and then in the fourth wheel was another Bahrain rider who didn't pull and sat up. 2 riders from UAE try to bridge across with a rider from Tudor, which I'm going to guess is Matteo Trentin. I hope it is. It is the final 2 kilometers now, 2.3. Vermeersch goes to the front. I think it is Rui Oliveira, so 2 UAE riders are there. Is that Trentin? I don't know. The rider that was in the group with Lotto Intermarché, he falls off the back, so we've got Vermeersch with about 2 bike lengths onto a Bahrain rider. Then there's Visma and Rui Oliveira, and then there's an NSN rider and a Tudor rider. There is a gap with 1.9 kilometers to go. Oh dear. I think it is Trentin. I forgot to look at his sleeves there for the European stripes, as Decathlon are at the front now. I think the peloton are going to catch with 1.7. No one seems to be doing a turn. Vermeersch seems to be out of legs. No, he's not. There's about 3 or 4 bike lengths from the peloton. So we've got 2 riders from Decathlon chasing down. There is Uno X, Little Trek, and then there's 2 riders from Visma. It has been caught. The attackers have been caught. 1.4 k's to go. I'm going to change that to the final 1 kilometer because we're about to hit it, but it is 1.3. No real lead-outs at the moment. Vermeersch is at the front. I think Lotto Intermarché are grouping together on the right-hand side. Brennan looks to be boxed in a bit by Lotto Intermarché. We're in the final, under the final kilometer banner now as the peloton spreads across the road. What are we looking at? Where are we? I think that Jasper Philipsen is at the back of the bunch. He seems to be in no man's land. We've got 3 riders from Visma on the right. There doesn't seem to be any real lead out train, so I'm trying to figure out who's who. I think Brennan's sitting about 9th wheel as it goes around the final turn, obviously onto the final straight. I think a rider from Movistar is at the front as they show the bird's eye view. I think Brennan might get it. He's in a good position. He's sitting on about 5th wheel. As a launch from NSN at the front, Lotto Intermarché on their wheel, 2 riders from Visma on that wheel. There is 2 quick step riders on the right hand side. As a launch from the Lotto Intermarché rider, we're waiting for the first launch of the sprinter. There's Decathlon coming up on the right hand side. Matthew Brennan is in 2nd wheel as it stands side by side with a quick step rider. As Matthew Brennan launches, he gets out of the saddle. I think that's Trentin coming up on the right hand side as Matthew Brennan launches to the front, and it looks like he is going to take it. Yeah, he does. He's winning. Matthew Brennan takes Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne. What a fair play to him. What a sprint. What a victory for Matthew Brennan. He does it. He gets a win for Visma Lisa bike at Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne. Wow. They have just unleashed a new weapon. What can you say? There's not much to say. The peloton let the ball drop with that break from Bahrain. Decathlon caught them, and Visma had enough riders to bring it to the end for Matthew Brennan. So fair play to Matthew Brennan. Congratulated by Christophe Laporte and his teammates. Wow. 20 years old winning Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne against some of the world's best sprinters. After winning at the Tour Down Under, he won the last stage at the Tour Down Under. He backs that win up with a win in the Classic season on opening weekend. I'm going to wait for the top 10, see what that's looking like. Because I didn't even clock who came second. Right, so they're showing the final sprint here. They go around the final bend. Yeah, there's no real lead out. They're all over the road. The only ones, there was about 3 Visma riders spread across the top 7 at the front of the peloton, and Matthew Brennan is able to latch onto the back of one of the wheels of the Visma riders, and then they just go to the front, and that is that. NSN launch first. He isn't getting anywhere. Then the Lotto Intermarché rider, he's in front of the 2 Visma riders. He launches. He doesn't get anywhere. And then the Visma rider at the front launches, giving Brennan a perfect opportunity to launch and get out of his wheel and just open road. And he sails home and gets that win. Let's see who gets second. So Brennan launches. There's someone from Quick Step. There's someone from Tudor. 2 riders from Tudor, actually. Did Tudor get 2 and 3? I think they do. I think Tudor get 2, second and third. I think Bahrain are sitting. Bahrain either got 3rd or 4th, but there was one rider that threw the wheel forward. Trentin and Mossato from Tudor, I think, got 2nd and 3rd. Fair play to Tudor. That is, after Stefan Kung breaking his femur bone yesterday, that it is a big loss for them, but they get 2nd and is it 3rd? Are you showing the yeah 2nd and 3rd? So 2 podium places for Tudor. I think Govakar, I think he got 4th. I think that was the Bahrain rider that got 4th. Yeah, photo finish between it. Govakar and Trentin for 3rd. But what a sprint. Matthew Brennan didn't really have much. He didn't really have anyone challenging him, to be honest. He just went out the front and he got it. I actually hope they're going to show the top 10 this time, because they didn't show the top 10 for Omlop. And I sat for about 5 minutes waiting. When they do show the top 10, I bet they show like 7 riders. I can't pronounce their names. Matthew Brennan on the map after like a brilliant season last year. He's backing it up with 2 wins already this season, and it's only is it still February? No, it's the start of March. So it's the start of March, and he's already got 2 World Tour wins. Oh no, sorry, 1 World Tour win. Sorry, this isn't a World Tour race. So they're showing here Brennan out the front, Mossato 2nd, Trentin 3rd, Govakar 4th. Don't know who was 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th, because they still haven't announced it yet, but commentator said Lund either got 6th or 7th, but I don't know. They haven't released the top 10, so. Is that how it's only 35 days ago from when Brennan won that staging. Is that how it feels a lot longer? Big security guard beside big security guy beside Matthew Brennan cycling as well on his bike. It's an electric bike as well. Brilliant. Right, they're going to show the top 10 here. No, they're going to show the centre of the town. Great. Oh. I'll go as I know the top 4. Matthew Brennan was first, obviously. Luca Mazzato was second. Matteo Trentin was third, and Govikar from Bahrain was fourth. I think Decathlon will be very upset with that after doing a bunch of work throughout the entire race. They obviously just got caught out in the final couple kilometres with that Bahrain victorious move. Jasper Philipsen will be disappointed as well. He had 2 bike changes and 1 teammate there at the end. What edition is this? It's the 78th Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne. So yeah, they're not going to show the top 10. They're going to go to interviews, which is great. So I'll just reiterate. Oh, we've got a 5th. It's someone I can't pronounce. It's someone I can't pronounce. So I'll name the top 4 again. So Matthew Brennan was first. Luca Mazzato was second. Matteo Trentin was third, and Govikar was fourth. So that is the top 4. I'm going to end it here. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed, subscribe, like, yada yada, all that. But yeah, I appreciate you watching the final K, and have a good one.